The Wailing Woods deep within a remote forest, known as the Wailing Woods, a haunting tale of tragedy and malevolence unfolded. The forest was a place of legend, shrouded in mist and whispered about in fearful tones by the villagers who lived nearby. Its towering trees seemed to stretch endlessly towards the sky, their branches forming an impenetrable canopy that blocked out the sun's rays. But it wasn't the darkness of the woods that was the source of terror. It was the wails that echoed through the trees at night. I had always been drawn to the macabre and the unexplained, so when I heard of the Wailing Woods, I felt an irresistible pull towards its depths. Armed with a flashlight, a journal, and a heart filled with morbid curiosity, I ventured into the heart of the forest one moonless night. As I stepped beyond the tree line, the air grew thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the rustling of leaves beneath my feet. The forest seemed to hold its breath, as if aware of an intruder in its midst. The moon's feeble light filtered through the dense foliage, casting eerie shadows that danced upon the ground. Hours turned to twilight, and the woods came alive with a symphony of nocturnal sounds. The rustling of unseen creatures and the distant calls of owls created an atmosphere that was both mesmerizing and unsettling. But it was the wails, the mournful cries that seemed to come from all directions, that sent shivers down my spine. As darkness settled in, I set up camp in a small clearing, the glow of my flashlight offering a frail sense of comfort. The fire crackled and popped, its warmth warding off the chill that clung to the air. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes were fixed upon me from the shadows. And then, as the fire's light danced upon the trees, I heard it. The wail, a chilling lament that cut through the night like a blade. The sound was haunting, a mixture of sorrow and despair that seemed to reach into the depths of my soul. With trembling hands, I recorded the experience in my journal, the date, the time, and the chilling cries that pierced the stillness. But as I wrote, the wails grew louder, closer, until they seemed to surround me, engulfing me in their mournful embrace. Driven by a mixture of fear and determination, I followed the sound deeper into the woods. The trees seemed to lean in, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out the stars. The air grew colder, as if the very forest were inhaling the warmth from the night. And then, through the shadows, I saw her. A figure, draped in tattered robes, standing among the trees. Her hair cascaded down her shoulders, and her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. She was the source of the wails, the spirit that had been trapped within the Wailing Woods for centuries. "Why are you here?" I asked, my voice quivering. The spirit's voice was a mere whisper, a breeze that rustled the leaves. "I am lost, trapped between realms." The spirit revealed her story, a young woman who had lived in a nearby village centuries ago. She had fallen in love with a man from a rival village, a love that had been forbidden by the feuding families. Their love had led to tragedy, a secret meeting in the woods, a confrontation that had ended in violence. Bound by her grief and the unfinished nature of her fate, the woman's spirit had become entwined with the forest itself. Her wails were a manifestation of her pain, a cry for release from the purgatory she had been condemned to. Determined to help the spirit find peace, I researched methods to break the curse that bound her to the Wailing Woods. Guided by a mixture of research and intuition, I embarked on a ritual to bridge the gap between the living and the spirit world. As the ritual reached its crescendo, the air seemed to tremble, and the trees swayed as if moved by an unseen wind. The spirit's form began to shimmer, her ethereal presence intensifying. The atmosphere was charged with energy, and the very ground seemed to vibrate. With a blinding flash of light, the spirit's form began to dissipate. Her wails transformed into a haunting melody, a song that seemed to echo through the forest, carrying a mixture of sorrow and release. And then, in an instant, she was gone, her energy merging with the very essence of the Wailing Woods. As I stood alone in the forest, a sense of calm settled over me. The Wailing Woods was no longer a place of torment. It was a testament to the power of empathy and the belief that even the most haunted souls can find redemption. The wails had faded, replaced by an eerie quietness that seemed to hold a whisper of gratitude. As I made my way back to the village, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey I had undertaken. The Wailing Woods was no longer a place of fear. It was a reminder of the interconnectedness of life and death, and the eternal search for peace in the face of tragedy.